Prince Harry has a big event called the Invictus Games. Many people like you follow everything the royal family does very, very closely because their lives are very interesting to watch. Right now, things are not going well for Prince Harry at all. He is having a lot of big problems that are making his life very difficult. Something very big and very surprising has happened with the royal family that no one expected to see. King Charles III has reportedly made a very big choice that has shocked everyone who follows the news. He has decided to completely stop Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle from coming to a very special place called Sandringham. This was a very firm and final decision. There were no secret meetings or quiet talks to try and fix things before this happened. There were no warnings given to Harry and Meghan at all. This news is moving through the royal circles like a giant wave in the ocean. Some people who know a lot about the palace think this should have happened a long time ago because of all the trouble. Other people think this shows that the family is very broken and hurt behind the big palace doors. This is not just a little fight between a father and a son. It is a very big moment where everything is changing for the monarchy. Do you think the king was right to make this big move? Or do you think the royal family is being too mean to Harry and Meghan? We really want to know what you think, so please write your thoughts in the comments below this video. To help us make more videos like this and find more royal drama, please hit the subscribe button right now. Now let us talk about the big trouble with the invitation to Sandringham. People who work inside the palace are whispering about what is really going on. A lady named Paula Frolic, who knows a lot of royal secrets, says a very strong choice was just made. King Charles has reportedly said that Harry and Meghan cannot come to Sandringham this summer at all. The reason for this big no is because of a trip they took to Australia that caused a lot of arguments. But there is a very interesting question we have to ask ourselves. Was there ever a real invitation in the first place, or was this whole thing just a story that was made up? The way this whole talk about an invitation started shows a pattern that many people have seen before. Instead of Harry calling his father on the phone to talk privately, he talked to the news reporters instead. Harry told the media that he and Meghan would be very happy to visit Sandringham. He made it sound like he was doing a nice thing for the king by offering to visit. It sounded like a very small and nice thing to say. But behind that nice tone, there might have been a very smart plan. Being a guest of the king at a royal house is not just about seeing the family for a fun reunion. It comes with something that is worth a lot of money. It comes with security guards that are paid for by the government and the people of Britain. If you have been following this story, you know that paying for bodyguards has become a very big problem in Harry's life. Private bodyguards cost a huge amount of money every single day. Because they have a very fancy lifestyle, the pressure to pay for everything is a very big deal. So, when Harry told the news he wanted to visit, it might not have been a nice surprise. It might have been a way to get the free security that comes with being a royal guest. There was also a very sad part to this story because Harry mentioned bringing his children to see the king. He said it would be very sweet for the kids to spend time with their grandfather. On the outside, this sounds like a very nice thing for a dad to say. But people inside the palace were very worried about this. They thought that talking about the kids in public was a way to put pressure on the king. When you talk about family feelings in front of everyone, it is hard to tell if you are being honest or if you are just trying to get what you want. People who are close to the king did not think this was a simple ask for a visit. They thought it was a very calculated move. It seemed like a plan to make the king look like a cold or mean person if he said no. But this time, the king did not do what they expected. The palace did not give in to the pressure. They stayed very firm and said no. Behind the closed doors, the family's feelings have become very tough. Some people say that Harry is the kind of person who tries even harder when he does not get his way. They say he is willing to make things worse instead of stepping back and being quiet. It is very sad when family feelings are used as a tool to get things. So now the big question is not just about a trip that was canceled. It is about whether the family can trust each other anymore. What really happened that made the king draw such a big line in the sand? Why did everything change so much after that one trip they took? We want you to understand why the trip to Australia was so important. It looked like a normal royal trip with photos and charity visits. But that trip was the very last thing the king could take. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. Let us look at every single detail of that trip. Something about the trip to Australia did not feel right to the people there. The reaction from the public made that very clear to everyone. Australia is a country that has loved the royal family for a very long time. But this time, the mood of the people changed completely. Reports said that most of the people there did not want to see Harry and Meghan come back again. That kind of reaction is a very big warning sign that something is going very wrong. At first, the trip looked very good and shiny. There were photos of them smiling and meeting people. They did things that were supposed to show they are kind and helpful, but underneath the smiles, a very different story was happening. Meghan went to a very fancy place for health and wellness. The people who went there had to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to be there. It was full of luxury rooms and special events. Meghan was a special guest there. Her travel and her room were all paid for by someone else. This made people very curious and a little bit upset. It is not wrong to earn money, but it felt weird because the trip was supposed to be about helping others. That is where the tension started to grow. Just a few days before she went to that fancy place, Meghan visited a hospital to see children who were very, very sick. This should have been a quiet and very sad moment to show she cares. But only a few hours later, everyone on the internet knew exactly what dress she was wearing. There were even links for people to go online and buy the same dress. For many people, this did not feel like an accident. It felt like a plan to sell clothes. Imagine how that looks to the families in the hospital. Those families are sitting by hospital beds feeling very scared and sad because their children are sick. At the very same time, the dress Meghan wore is being sold online for money. To many people, this crossed a line. It mixed helping people with making money in a way that felt very bad. Then there was the problem of how much money the trip cost. Even though they are not working for the royal family anymore, the cost for their security guards was very high. It reportedly cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. The people who pay taxes in Australia had to pay for it. This made people even more angry. People asked why the public had to pay if they were just private people now. Many people who watched the news began to wonder if Harry and Meghan still had any power or if people still believed in them. From the United States to the United Kingdom, people started to feel like their brand was losing its strength. What people once thought was a brave move to be independent was now seen as a mistake. It seemed like they were showing themselves too much. This also reminded people of what Queen Elizabeth II used to say. She told them that trying to be a public servant while also trying to make a lot of money would be very hard. She said you need to have a lot of discipline and make very good choices. Many people now say that ignoring her advice led to these big problems. But just when the critics were getting very loud, something else happened. Something Prince Harry said was very unexpected and very political. It was something that could not be ignored. If the trouble in Australia was bad, what he said next made things even worse for the family. You should stay very close to your screen for this part. The speech he gave did not go the way he wanted it to. Inside the palace, the mood went from being worried to being very frustrated and even disgusted. When King Charles was told about everything that was happening, he was not just sad. He was very, very upset. But that was only the start of the new trouble. While the Australia trip was causing problems, something else was happening in the background. It would make the fighting even worse. There were only 4 days between two very big events. If you look at them side by side, it makes you wonder what was happening. On one side, the king was getting ready for a very important trip to Washington, D.C. to see other leaders. This trip was very hard for him because he is currently fighting cancer. He even had to stop his medical treatments for a little while just so he could do his job as king. On the other side, Prince Harry suddenly showed up in the country of Ukraine. He did not go there quietly to show support. He went there to give a big public speech. It was a very serious speech about politics. People say he even talked bad about some American leaders like Donald Trump. Now, think about the timing of this. Harry did this only 4 days before his father was going to talk to those same people. His father was already very sick and tired from his cancer treatments. This kind of overlap is something that everyone notices. In the world of kings and leaders, every word you say is very important. Many people asked a very hard question. Was this just a mistake because Harry did not realize the timing, or did he do it on purpose? When you look at how they do things, it seems like a pattern. They often do big interviews or make big statements right when the royal family is doing something important. Inside the palace, they have noticed this pattern for a long time. There's a lot of worry about how much stress this puts on the king. Prince William has said many times that stress can make a sick person feel even worse. But Harry and Meghan keep adding more pressure at the worst times. Imagine how the king feels. He's getting ready for a big trip to another country. He is changing his doctor visits and trying to do a good job for the world. Then his own son gives a speech that makes his job much harder. It makes the conversations with other world leaders very tricky. Whether Harry meant to do it or not, the result is the same. He put more weight on his father's shoulders when his father was already carrying a lot. This is where things do not make sense. In public, Harry says he is worried about his father. He says he wants to be a family again. He gives emotional interviews about how he wants to fix things before it is too late. But his actions do not match his words. Instead of helping, his actions seem to make the family move further apart. But there is an even more serious part to this. It goes beyond family fights and into very scary legal territory. Could there be legal trouble because of what Harry said in his speech? And is this part of a bigger problem with his money? What is really happening with his legal issues and his finances? It might be much worse than anyone thought. In the United States, there is a special law called the Logan Act. This law says that private people are not allowed to interfere with the government's business with other countries. It exists to make sure that only the government talks to other world leaders. Harry is not a citizen of the United States, so the law is a bit confusing for him. But the real worry is not about where he is from. It is about what he did. When a private person who does not have a government job starts making big political speeches, it causes a lot of trouble, especially in a place like Ukraine where there is a war. It makes the lines between the government and private people very blurry. Critics say that even if he did not break a specific law, he still did something that laws are supposed to stop. He stepped into a place where only world leaders should be. This leads to another question. Would Harry have even gone to Ukraine if the trip to Australia had been better? Australia was where everything started to feel different. The trip there did not help his image like he hoped it would. Instead of making people like him more, it made them like him less. After the trip, the polls showed that his reputation was hurt very badly. The story about him did not get better. It got weaker. Analysts think this put a lot of pressure on him. He felt like he had to do something big to stay famous and keep people talking about him. When people start to criticize him, he does more public events. When people stop paying attention, he makes a big statement. That is why he might have gone to Ukraine. But there are still many questions that no one has answered. Who paid for the trip to Ukraine? Why was he really there? Did any money from his charity, the Invictus Games, help pay for this personal trip? These questions are still being asked by many people. At the same time, his money situation is changing. Some of the people who used to help him with the news have left. Big deals with companies like Netflix and Spotify might not be as big as people thought. Some people say the Netflix deal was smaller than the news said. They also say the Spotify deal did not work out well. Harry also has to pay millions of dollars for his own security and for lawyers. This might be using up all the money he was supposed to keep for a long time. People in Hollywood are saying that having the royal name on a project might not be a good thing anymore. It might even make investors scared to give them money. According to some sources, Harry and Meghan are staying together right now because they need each other. Meghan needs his royal title to be famous. Harry needs her to manage their business and their life. Both of them still need the link to the royal family to stay important in the world. Without the royal family, they might not have much to offer. This makes people wonder what the king should do next. Just stopping them from coming to Sandringham might not be enough. Many people are asking the king to do something even stronger. They want the king to take away their royal titles and stop them from representing the crown at all. The king actually has the power to do this. In the past, kings and queens have changed titles and royal rules with just one formal paper. It has happened many times in history. Some people think the king is not doing it because he does not want to have a big fight. But critics say that by waiting, he is letting the trouble get worse. Behind the palace doors, the important people are getting very frustrated. They see the same drama happening over and over again. They see the public speeches in other countries as a big problem. Some see it as Harry just saying what he believes, but others see it as a fight against the king's rules. The situation is not fixed yet, and the whole world is still watching to see what happens next. Every time Harry or Meghan makes a move, it adds more trouble to their relationship with the royal family. This brings us to the most sensitive problem of all, which is the fight over security guards. This is the real reason why there is such a big rift in the family. It is a secret battle that no one is explaining fully yet. The fight over security is a very big legal problem. What looks like a fight about a Christmas invite is actually a fight about protection. Harry is in a big legal battle to get the police to protect him when he is in the United Kingdom. He says it is too dangerous for him to be there without official guards. He says because he was in the army and because he is famous, he is at risk. But the government says that since he quit his royal job, the taxpayers should not have to pay for his guards anymore. This has created a big deadlock where no one can agree. This problem affects everything, including whether he can visit Sandringham. You cannot just go to a royal house without a security plan. So the reason he was not invited might be because of these security rules, not just because the king is mad. This fight is about money and who is responsible for Harry's safety. If the government gives him guards, it costs a lot of money. If they do not, it might be dangerous. There is no easy answer. This legal fight also makes the public feel differently about the monarchy. People look at it and think about fairness and who should get special treatment. While this is happening, Harry and Meghan are becoming less popular. Polling shows that people in the UK and the US are liking them less and less over time. At first, everyone was curious and liked them. But now, after all the interviews and documentaries, people are tired of the drama. In the UK, many people are very skeptical of them because they still use their royal names but do not do royal work. In the US, people are also becoming more cautious about supporting them. Their image is being worn away. Every new thing they do seems to make people more divided. This brings us to the symbol of Sandringham. Sandringham is more than just a big house. It is a place that represents the family being together. It is where they go for Christmas to be a normal family away from the cameras. It represents being part of the inner circle. If you are not allowed to go to Sandringham, it means you are being pushed out of the family heart. It is a sign of being excluded. Sandringham is a place of history and memories. Unlike the big palaces in London, it is a private place. That is why being told no to Sandringham is such a big deal. It is not just about a house, it is about belonging. It shows how far apart Harry and the King have become. It shows that there is no trust left. So what do you think about what King Charles has done? What do you think about Harry's speech and his choices? Do you think these actions will hurt him for a long time? We would love to hear everything you have to say in the comments below. Please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a story. We will keep following all the royal drama for you and let you know the latest news as soon as it happens. Thank you for watching and for being part of our community. We hope to see you in the next video as we uncover more secrets about the royal family. This story is far from over, and there will be much more to talk about very soon. The world is watching to see if the family can ever be whole again or if the rift will stay forever. Goodbye for now and see you next time.